And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Friday, January the 10th. I know a lot of you are waking up in Lauderdale, Newton County, or Clark County looking around going, where's the snow? It's kind of like that thing from the mid-'80s of where's the beef? Well, it's not here. Now, we do want to raise some areas of concern, and we'll show you this on a map of where you need to be cautious. Winston County, the Sheriff's Department, already issuing that they've got icy roads anywhere around Birmingham, Alabama. Tough this morning. Locally, let's pull up a little bit closer here as we go to radar this morning. What we're looking at anywhere north of Philadelphia, north of DeKalb, you'll see that we're getting a little bit of sleet here at 493, 495 there on Highway 16. So as you enter, just be cautious anywhere in Neshoba County and Kemper County, mostly the northern portion of the county. Now, you'll get a little bit here. As you get into Winston and to Noxubee County and all points northward and east of that location is where it's serious weather. The Meridian area back to Jackson is just going to be rain for the most part of what we've seen. I haven't gotten any reports of anything on highways in these areas. If so, if you've encountered something, please let us know so we can pass that information along to everybody. On the way, we're going to be telling you of what the closings are that we're aware of. There's a lot of things closed today. We got word Enterprise School rolling right along. They're going to be opening up as scheduled, and I would think most everything in Clark County is a go. We got word late last night that Lauderdale County Courthouse would be closed. We'll go over that list here in a moment of what we have. Somewhere around 30 to 40 businesses and schools that are closed today due to the possibility of inclement weather. But we've got a lot. If you're anywhere near Starkville, a lot of snow. If you're in those areas, let us see a picture or two. We'd love to be able to share that and show other folks of what we've got. Good morning, Diane. Miss Jean is joining us. Rose Hill. It ought to be nice and wet there this morning. Shirley, good morning. Good morning from Philadelphia. We see Richard's up. Chuck. Yeah, so many of you joining us today. You know, we've got the forecast to go, and we'll go over these road conditions. And again, if you encounter anything on a roadway, please let us know. Most of all, whether it's wet or if you've got a little ice, drive slower today. Rain is just as dangerous as black ice. You can get into one of those puddles and lose control. We had several accidents last night. I think it was mile marker 96 just around Newton, involving an 18-wheeler and a couple cars in the middle of the night. I think we had a few injuries with that, nothing major, but some injuries there with that accident. So we'll keep you up to date with the latest that we have. We'll be right back as we'll get into more of this as the morning begins here at the Scotty Ray Report.
I want to take a moment this morning and speak directly to the Christians, all right? I recently came across a piece of wisdom from the Proverbs that made me immediately think of churches. Here's what that wisdom says in Proverbs 28, verse 2. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers, but with a man of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. That's the ESV translation. Here's how the NIV says it. When a country is rebellious, it has many rulers, but a man of understanding and knowledge maintains order. Yeah, I know it's talking about nations, but I think there's a word here for churches, and here it is. The longevity of your pastors reveals something about the heart of your congregation. Churches that are stiff-necked, severe, and stingy, in other words, rebellious to the mandates of God, will have a high turnover rate in their pastors. Pastors in these type of churches, they get discouraged and burnt out. They get chewed up and spit out and either move on to another church or another profession altogether. Whatever the case may be, they won't be there long. However, churches who love their pastors, respect them, follow them, share with them well, they tend to have long tenures on their staff. So as you look at the longevity of your pastors, what do you see? If you see a lot of turnover, then it's time to take a long look at your congregation and get to the heart of what needs to change. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Good morning and welcome back. In my head, Jim Croce is stuck today. I can't seem to get it out of. You don't mess around with Jim. It just happens. I just got off the phone with Sheriff Jody Pennington. All systems are a-go in Newton County. Newton County schools are going to be going. All roads are opening and working fine as we talk there. Possibility of Newton City schools that closed early last night is the only thing that I know of in Newton County that is not functioning. But all roads are fantastic. They've checked them. You can do your travels throughout Newton County. Again, you won't get into conditions that might be questionable until you cross into Neshoba County, that northern portion up there, as we keep bringing about. There's been a little bit there. Arlington, I saw a little bit in those areas last night, showing some areas of accumulation on roads and bridges. Nothing major, but it was there. Winston County, a totally different ball game. The further north you go, the worse the roads condition, all the way up to the state of Tennessee. Once you get to, let's just look at this, somewhere around Amory. Let's look at this here. Here's Amory here as we click on that. A tenth of an inch being reported there. Snowfall, Amory, Mississippi. But as you go on up in these areas here, Oxford, let's just see what they got there. 2.2 inches of snow this morning in Oxford, Mississippi. That's a bunch there. New Albany has a bunch of snow. Ripley, Olive Branch over here. What do we got? 2.1. And over there, we got 1 inch on that side where that was reported. But Clarksdale, these areas here, a bunch of it. All of this pink area, Water Valley, Grenada, Keel, it's going to be a mixture of snow, sleet kind of mixed in there around Amory as well. What we got here around Columbus, just north of it. Caledonia, getting a little bit of snow there also. Right there around Caledonia. As you'll see there, we got snow in Tuscaloosa, and there's tons of it in Birmingham. I have seen some absolutely gorgeous pictures this morning coming in from that area there around Birmingham. So those are road conditions, and again, we urge you, if you've got any, let us know. I'll be checking in with Eric Clark in a few moments. What do we know about Neshoba County? We'll send him a text and find out what he has to tell us on this. Let's see here. That girl. She's up. She's up and at him.
I got her took care of.
Yeah, you got her? Okay. All right, that's going. Let's take a look at a few of the headlines shaping America, and then we'll do a complete look at your weather here in just a moment. I didn't realize that there was a lawsuit going on, but Kroger was involved with them in Kentucky, with the state of Kentucky. It all dealt with, and if you've seen any of these movies about Kentucky, of the drug problems that are there, they've had them. This goes back to 2006 about prescriptions of opioids, to where they didn't keep records of who was getting what and it was getting abused. They've settled with the state over this and had to pay Kentucky $110 million. Kroger, that is. Record keeping will move forward from there. Now, again, as you look at this, don't forget, it was someone who wrote those prescriptions. They only went there to redeem them. Maybe they should have called somebody and said there's an abundance of these. But again, there's other people at fault here. I don't want anybody to do the blame game here and get away with it. It started somewhere else. Today, somewhere remotely, Trump will be getting his sentence from New York, the hush money. They're moving ahead with that, and we'll let you know what we find out about that later today. They're going to do all they can do on that. A New York City construction company is being indicted. And this is just bad. To take from somebody that works hard, gives you 40, and then you don't want to pay them when you make them work overtime. And that's what it was. They owe their workers $67,000. There were several of them that worked overtime. And let me tell you what they did for a living. Drywall. Anybody ever fool with that? Make a saint say an ugly word trying to get that stuff smooth. Numerous text messages were recovered from employees asking for the money. They couldn't pay for their rent. They couldn't pay for their food. The state agreed with them, and the company will have to pay them now. Pay what you owe. Somebody works hard for you, take care of them. They'll come back and work with you another day there. New Orleans ramping up. It's good to see. I'm not sure if he's already at work or on the job, but New Orleans is bringing in a former NYPD commissioner as their security expert to help with problems that they were having after that accident. That's good. Fences don't seem to stop bad guys. We live in a different world now, don't we? I hope that all works out and this never happens again in that city. A missing Australia hiker has been found. I don't think we mentioned this yesterday. He was lost for 2 weeks in the outback. I keep thinking of Nick Dundee. The guy was lost, but he's okay. 2 weeks is a long time to stumble around. Things out there that'll get you. Baseball fans, anybody out there? Baltimore, Maryland's Orioles pitcher, Brian and I pronounce his name right, Mutzi. He has passed away at the age of 37. My, how young he was. Former pitcher there. Oh, that one just bothers me there. I don't know, has anybody seen the picture or watched the funeral yesterday of Jimmy Carter, the 39th president? Did you see the reactions to Trump? Smiles, handshaking between Obama and Trump. They got along. They seemed to be telling jokes. There was no hair pulling. It's amazing. They came together, everybody, I think, under 5 presidents at one time. No arguments, no choking, no nothing. It just kind of worked out. There was at least peace for a moment. That's good.
Bush and Clinton was pretty close.
Well, he's always been close. Yeah, Bush and Clinton, they are buddy. He's buddy with a lot of folks across the aisle. Yeah. But that's just part of it. But I'm glad it all worked out there. Hey, if you were going to the mountains to go skiing, the ski patrol is off of their strike, so you can go back. A lot of folks were getting upset as they went into these areas to go skiing, and there was no patrol. Lines were long, and well, it was a mess there. So everything's getting back to normal now. Microsoft announcing, are you doing your job? Whoa. They're getting in a low underperformers that aren't doing their job well, going to be laying off a few. That's one of those you might deserve it type cutbacks. We'll be right back as we'll get into your forecast here in just a moment at the Scotty Ray Report. Don't go anywhere.
We welcome you to a new vehicle buying experience here at Doc's Toyota. Buying a new vehicle doesn't have to be stressful, but don't just take our word for it.
This was the best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle.
Doc's employees are top-notch.
I drove 2 hours, not once, but twice, to purchase 2 vehicles with a 5-month time frame.
Doc's delivers competitive pricing, a comprehensive selection, and flexible financing options, helping you get on the road from Carthage, Meridian, and beyond. There's a reason why there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes, and Garrett Sport exactly what you need. Habo shirts, long and short sleeve, also Hulk shirts, and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Welcome back. As we begin this day, we'll get into looking at the power outages, if any, in the area. It's not going to be many, at least not in Lauderdale County in this area, but we will get into looking at all areas across the state of Mississippi to look at how cold things are. Again, we don't have bad conditions with weather unless it dips down to that 29 to 32 range there. Anything below 32, it can freeze. When you get into the 31, 30, 29, it gets hazardous at that point. As we look across here, this is what we're expecting today as we look for our highs, as we pull this up. 41 is what we'll get out of Meridian. As we look north through there, Columbus, maybe 39 for a high, 38 in Eupora. Down the Mississippi River, 39, Greenwood, Vicksburg, 42. Now, again, these areas right now that have sludge or whatever on the street, it's going to warm up enough to get rid of that. So we'll get into the detailed forecast here in just a moment to talk about that. As we go to Bama land, here's what we got. 39 at Demopolis, 39 to 40 at the most there. We should see 35 at Birmingham. All of this above freezing across the state of Alabama. There is snow, and of course it'll take a few hours for this stuff to burn off, but that's what we're watching there. As we move forward, this is what we're seeing of the future forecast. Next 10 days, a little cool here in Mississippi, but colder on the East Coast is what we've got. All right, as we get into our 7-day forecast, I can't seem to get it to stop, can I? Here we are, 41 today, a low tonight of around 30. And again, that's chilly there. As we look at the forecast for tomorrow, 43, 22 on Saturday night. Burr. And as you'll notice, all the rain is out of the forecast, so we won't have any problems. Sunday, we're back to 52, below freezing again at 31. Monday night, 25, and we're going to have some cold nights, but each day rising above those cold temperatures, so it's not bad at all. As we look ahead, 66, it's getting summertime again. Oh boy, that's going to be January the 17th, low that night, 52. We'll get back into some 50-degree weather and some 40s by the end of the month, there around the 21st, 22nd. Nighttime lows hovering there in the mid to lower 30s, 32-ish. Some of those days there is what we'll be looking at. As we glance across, who's going fishing today? Anybody? Let's take a look. Here's what we've got. The National Weather Service had nothing to do with this, as I almost said they did. Scotty Ray's fishing forecast. I don't know where that come from. As we look at this, an east wind 5 to 15 today. Wind gusts should reach about 35. What we have, major times to fish, 8:48 till about 11 o'clock today is going to be the major time. You've got our minor time this afternoon around 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock to fish. Sunrise happens at 6:57 a few minutes from now, and we'll have sunset at 5:07. For the deer hunters that are getting out, wading through the rain this morning, major time is right at 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 6:58 to 8:58. So call that there at 7 to 9. Minor time this afternoon from 12:35 to 1:35 if you're going to be going. And again, sunrise 6:57. Sunset will happen at 5:07 p.m. is what we're banking the farm on there if you're going to be out. Now, don't forget, in most places, deer season is going to end around the 31st. We wish you luck with all of that. Now, let's go back here and just look at the state of Mississippi of outages that we've got. I didn't originally pull this up. And let's show what we're showing for the state of Mississippi of power outages. Here we go. 5,000 Mississippi, 4,800 roughly. And then in Alabama, we've got 5,000. Let's look at what we've got here as we get into these counties. The further north you go, Webster, Choctaw, Attala, 129. We get into Winston County, 0 right now. That's good. Noxubee, all working well. As we get into here, Neshoba, 19, Leak. Scott County showing the most, and we don't know what caused that. We've been blessed on this as we look at this. 44 in Lauderdale County without power. Let's see what system that's on here. Right here is where it is. This is going to be in the southeast area, and this is going to be on Crescent Lake Road. We got about 44 people right along in there. Pleasant Hill Road is where the actual major power outage is there in the 0 community, just to the southwest there in Causeyville. They got crews on the ground working on that with EMEPA. It gives you a little heads up of what to do on that. Most people, again, have today off that are throughout the county. Most places were calling it off as far as schools and things of that nature. The courthouse is closed. We're going to do a complete rundown of this coming up at the top of the hour, what's open, what's closed that we're aware of. And if you have a change of school systems, please let us know. If something is changing, your business has decided to open up, please let us know about that. That's where we are on everything. We'll be back in just a few moments. It's about 10 till. We're going to go live at 7 o'clock. Julia's getting ready. The whole gang will be here except somebody. Somebody can't make it. We'll tell you all about that coming up at the top of the hour. We'll see you soon at the Scotty Ray Report. Join us, won't you?
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.